The coronavirus on campus more than a month after move-in, NNN checks in with administrators to see how they think the university is handling the new normal.
Evanston fights for Black lives. What does the future hold amid calls for equity here in Evanston and around the nation?
And practice in a parking lot. We catch up with some Beanon students letting music bring them together.
All that and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news right now.
Good evening and welcome to the first Northwestern News Report of the fall. I'm Joey Safchik.
And I'm Justin Sweetwood.
We begin tonight with a coronavirus update. It's been a month since students returned to Evanston, and the university's COVID-19 positivity rate is 0.38% as of Tuesday. How is the university handling positive cases, and what does it mean for the weeks ahead? NNN's Megan Leibowitz reports.
At colleges and universities across the country, when classes started, COVID followed. But here at Northwestern, few outbreaks and a positive outlook from university leaders.
I'm very satisfied with the performance to date.
According to NU's COVID dashboard, from September 28th to October 1st, 17 confirmed cases and a positivity rate of 0.38%. University leaders say Northwestern may still be seeing the effects of Wildcat wellness, but they're optimistic about the quarter.
At what point would you make the recommendation to shut down the university again?
The steps that we've taken for the fall quarter have been done in a way to make it a very low chance that we would ever fully kind of close campus.
University leadership is currently in talks about winter quarter. Senior Associate Vice President Luke Figueres says the university wants to make decisions about who comes back to campus as early as possible.
I think there's a strong desire to bring back as many students as possible. And we're trying to put the infrastructure in place to do that. We're going to run into COVID colliding with flu season a little bit, and I think we all know it's going to be a slightly difficult winter.
So far, university leaders say they're pleased with student compliance.
Yes, there are a few students that have essentially partied a little bit, but nothing to the extent that you might be reading about other campuses.
So what's the university's capacity for dealing with COVID positive cases? Hinman and Jones are the designated quarantine and isolation facilities for students living on campus.
When they move into that facility from their normal assigned room and housing, there's a team that works to support them.
According to university leaders, as of October 1st, there were 3 students living in quarantine or isolation facilities, and about 200 beds are ready. But students living off campus quarantine or isolate at home, and some report receiving confusing communication. Third-year Miranda Chabot quarantined in her off-campus apartment after her roommate tested positive.
We as a house received a lot of conflicting information.
Conflicting information, like an email mistakenly saying Chabot was released from her quarantine less than 1 week in. Chabot stayed quarantined until receiving the correct green light from the university 2 weeks and 2 negative tests later.
One thing that we've learned out of this is, how much communication matters and how we can do a better job of that.
Students and administrators working to refine approaches to the virus and keep the spread low. Megan Leibowitz, Northwestern News Network.
If you have symptoms of COVID-19, call the University Health Center at 847-491-8100 to schedule a test at Searle Hall. Take advantage of the testing at Jacobs Center only if you are asymptomatic.
And now an update on the City of Chicago's emergency travel order. Chicago's travel order now includes 22 states and Puerto Rico. Many are surrounding states such as Wisconsin, Iowa, and Missouri. And as of this week, the state of Illinois has over 300,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19.
The Evanston economy is hard hit by COVID-19, with some 36 businesses closing for good. Evanston staples like Unicorn Cafe and La Machina shuttering after the college city suffered without students in the spring. But at least 27 new businesses have also opened their doors in Evanston since March. The city is supporting locally owned shops with the launch of the COVID-19 Small Business Assistance Program last month.
Evanston Fight for Black Lives is pushing to defund the Evanston Police Department, or EPD. Its members say Evanston has many racial problems that need to be addressed, and the NU community can play a role. NNN's Jenny Huh has more.
Evanston Fight for Black Lives, or EFBL, is calling for a 75% decrease in EPD's funding.
As we started to understand what it would look like and where money would need to come from and go, that's how we got to 75.
Organizers Sarah Bogan and Micaela Perezian say talks with Evanston Mayor Steve Haggerty aren't going anywhere. But they say EFBL has been in discussion with the Evanston Police Department.
We both recognize what the community needs, but they don't agree that that should come from defunding them.
EPD declined NNN's request for comment. EFBL is also calling for a subcommittee of civilians and aldermen to look into complaints made by citizens against EPD officers, as well as budgetary, disciplinary, and office records. NU students have also contributed to EFBL's action plan.
I'd say there are definitely different kinds of support, whether it's redistributing wealth or just showing up to our events, stuff like that, which we do have some Northwestern students.
So has there been racial progress in Evanston and beyond? According to a recent study by a Kellogg School of Management professor, white Americans still greatly overestimate racial progress, often due to misinformation. As for what the future holds.
And I think we're going to actually start seeing white fatigue starting when the weather gets cold, and we can't necessarily do protests outside, and it can't be such a showy form of I'm here supporting Black lives.
A call for equity and a time for education. Jenny Huh, Northwestern News Network.
EFBL continues its work well into the new academic year. The organization hosted Jacob Blake's sister, the family of the late Breonna Taylor, and others as guest speakers last Saturday.
Eating on campus this quarter, you may have noticed dining halls prioritizing student safety with takeout options and socially distant seating. However, a recent demonstration on campus called attention to the issue of worker safety. NNN's Jason Harward has more.
What's at stake is our lives.
For 7 minutes, 28 seconds, Northwestern dining workers and student allies perform a die-in, protesting working conditions during the pandemic.
So one of my parents passed away, and so it's affecting because I don't want to go to work, and I don't want to get to work and get sick and come back to my house and then get my other parents sick.
The Dining Workers Union demands halting discipline for COVID-19 related absences.
We must choose between coming to work or being punished for staying home.
They also want hazard and quarantine pay. NU student Valen Marie Santos says she's participating in part to thank workers for the community they helped create.
All those personal connections were huge for my transition into Northwestern, and I know that's the same for a lot of students at Northwestern, specifically students of color.
A mutual aid fund started by students organizing for labor rights at Northwestern helped Laves and other affected workers pay for necessities. The fundraising effort, shared widely on social media, has raised almost $100,000 since it started in late March.
If they don't pay you, I go day by day, so I don't have, I gotta pay my bills.
A statement by Compass Group, the university's food service provider, says meeting union demands would increase student meal plan costs by about $1,200 per year, but workers say the trade-off could be even more costly.
See, one of the workers comes sick, probably a student can get sick too. That's the community, right? And I feel like I'm part of the community of Northwestern.
Students rallying around workers, hoping the university will follow suit. Jason Harward, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Jason. Coming up, learning from home isn't the same for everyone. What the interim dean of students is doing to keep students connected.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Go We will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Former Illinois State Senator Daniel Biss says he intends to run for Evanston mayor in 2021. Biss became a household name in Illinois politics during his 2018 run for governor. Current Evanston Mayor Steve Haggerty told the Chicago Tribune, quote, "I welcome residents such as Daniel Biss and others to consider running for mayor of our great city. Biss's platform focuses on Evanston's economy, gentrification, housing affordability, and public safety." Mayor Haggerty has not announced whether he will run again for mayor.
Northwestern featured in the New York Times this week. The business section article explores the implications of the pandemic for women in academia. Northwestern initially responding to the pandemic by giving junior faculty members an additional year to publish work that would help them secure tenure. But in the article, women faculty members here at NU say additional childcare subsidies and flexibility in teaching schedules would be more helpful than the publication delay.
Access to reliable internet connection is a necessity for students, professors, and administrators working from home. As issues arise, the Northwestern community comes together to help improve the new normal in education. Lindsay Tanney has the story.
Internet access is just one of the many problems students are facing during the pandemic.
Students from lower income backgrounds whose parents were getting laid off and were facing homelessness and facing food insecurity were trying to figure out how to get by this summer.
Interim Dean of Students Mona Dugo hopes enrollment in fall classes offers some stability.
62% of the students at Northwestern are on financial aid.
Professor Judy Frank says equal access to technology is not a university issue, but a societal one.
And this idea that we have social structures that prohibit some communities from equal access to broadband technology, that as a society, I feel like we need to address.
The disconnect within the NU community is felt from all around the world. As people try to connect through Zoom,
I have heard that people can't hear me or it comes in super staticky.
Do you think that your learning is hindered by your technological difficulties?
I definitely think so. Just being able to pay attention and stay focused in class. With the glitches happening every 5 seconds, it makes it really difficult for me.
There are also challenges to online learning that aren't about Wi-Fi.
I wear hearing aids, and so when a student turns off their camera, not being able to see their face so I can read their lips becomes a challenge for me.
Students are taking matters into their own hands. Senior Bin Pandey created a Google form, allowing students to express their needs and problems with remote learning environments.
We realize that there's some problems and hopefully we can do something about it. We could write something to the school to help professors know how students are feeling.
Students hoping their concerns won't be put on mute. Lindsay Tanney, Northwestern News Network.
According to the student-created survey, main concerns of Wildcats are the lack of socializing, professor interactions, and unclear expectations.
After more than 130 years on campus, Gamma Phi Beta is the first Northwestern sorority to disband this year. The decision comes as an Abolish Greek Life movement gains traction on campus. In the 2019-2020 academic year, about 40% of the NU student body affiliated with Greek Life, but that number is shrinking. The Abolish NU Greek Life Instagram account has nearly 3,500 followers and shares user stories of abuse, harassment, and discrimination in Greek spaces. Natalie Chun, a senior and former executive board member of Gamma Phi Beta, tells NNN why it was time to disband.
This is an oppressive institution that's existed for so long, and it's been racist for so long, and you really think like we're gonna solve decades of racism through like a 1 hour implicit bias training, and like all we were doing by existing was causing harm to a lot of people of color who like were in the organization or like didn't feel comfortable enough to go through recruitment or dropped out of recruitment.
We now bring in NNN's Simone Scott. Simone, based on your reporting, why is this movement seeking abolishment and not just reform?
Yeah, so these students believe that Greek life was built on racist, sexist, and elitist beliefs, and that the true way to make change is to take down that foundation. Now, the process to disband can be long and complicated, so we are seeing some chapters, like Chi Omega, try and address these issues through reform, but the ultimate goal is abolition.
March through the virtual arch? It doesn't have the same ring, but Northwestern's newest students are making the most of their first quarter of college, even if college looks a lot like their childhood bedroom. NNN's Elizabeth Betts has the story.
March through the Arch is one of Northwestern's most treasured traditions, but like so much this year, it was put on hold.
I was devastated.
After most freshmen and sophomores were told to stay home, the class of 2024 got creative.
When we found out that we wouldn't be able to like live together and go to campus, we were immediately trying to like think of ways to get together.
Though Monica Williams and her roommate weren't able to march through the arch in Evanston, they recreated the experience in Columbus, Ohio.
The day of the marching through the arch, we got up kind of early and we brought her mom so she could take pictures of us.
But March Through the Arch wasn't the only thing that got a makeover. Wildcat Welcome, NU's Orientation Week, got a digital new look.
My PA was just really cool, and then everybody in my group was also just like, they were all talkative.
While both Williams and Roberts were able to make connections online during Wildcat Welcome, Monica took that week as an opportunity to get to know her roommate better.
We decided to spend Wildcat Welcome together so that we're not like lonely and sad.
It might not be the fall quarter they expected, but Northwestern students around the world are working together to make sure things fall into place. Elizabeth Betts, Northwestern News Network.
While first years seem to enjoy Wildcat Welcome, the next Northwestern tradition they have on their virtual schedule is a little less fun, their first round of midterms.
Coming up, getting your news on TikTok? A partnership between Northwestern and Stanford students is bringing the latest headlines in between dancing teens and memes.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Move over, Charlie D'Amelio. Northwestern students are claiming a piece of TikTok fame with their own unconventional news report.
Turns out TikTok fame isn't just for dancing teens and random memes. Northwestern students Ruba Memon and Sahithi Gangavarapu don't dance or sing, but they read the news.
Say please.
Memon and Gangavarapu, along with Stanford sophomores Emma Williamson and Erica O'Kine, have amassed over 280,000 followers since May, and have 8.5 million likes on their page, which they say is a resource for young audiences to find reliable global news stories they might not see elsewhere.
Providing this accurate and unbiased news, we hope that, people start, being less ignorant.
So we wanted to, also provide an outlet where people can kind of talk about news in our comment section and also present them with news that they might not otherwise hear about.
Through simple minute-long videos, Daily Dose News aims to reach a bipartisan audience with non-political, non-COVID news.
Social media is kind of like a big echo chamber, filter bubble. So for us to be bipartisan is to mean that we have people from both sides coming to look at our page. So, and that's really important because then we allow people to do their own research and decide for their own what they want.
And Daily Dose News is reaching farther than TikTok. They have over 10,000 followers on Instagram, with a website in the works. They've also been accepted to the Propel program at the Northwestern Garage, a mentorship program for female-led startups.
We're excited to kind of meet with more industry professionals and people that are a little more experienced and get their guidance.
Embracing a new way to deliver the news. Chloe Cope, Northwestern News Network.
One Northwestern alum taking Hollywood by storm, and he's being recognized in a super way. Time magazine features Greg Berlanti, class of 1994, as one of the 100 most influential people of 2020. Greg Berlanti taking to Twitter, saying he's, quote, deeply humbled to be included on the hashtag Time100 list. Berlanti, seen here at the 2019 School of Communication Convocation, has toppled Hollywood records, producing 18 TV shows in the 2019 calendar year, including Supergirl and The Flash. The super producer also made history for directing the 2018 film Love, Simon, the first romantic comedy centered on a gay teen to be backed by a major Hollywood studio. And though he's a titan of the silver screen, Berlanti bleeds purple. He gives back to his alma mater, donating $2 million to the Barbara Berlanti Professorship in Writing for the Screen and Stage. According to the university, the Barbara Berlanti Professorship, named after Berlanti's mother, will continue to prepare students to work across genres and encourage them to create work for diverse audiences.
With wildcats scattered around the globe this quarter, NNN's weather segment will feel a little different. Instead of the normal 5-day weather forecast, we'll be providing you an overview of major weather events across the country. Here's NNN's Julia McCary.
I'm Julia McCary, and this is your National Weather Report. After a summer of record-breaking heat, wildfires continue to devastate California's wine country. But there could be much-needed rain there by the end of the week. But that western heat is not felt near the Midwest, where there's a rainstorm headed from the Great Lakes to the east. However, the temperatures will go up in the Chicago area this weekend in what might be the last summer-like days of 2020. In the south, Florida can expect heavy rainfall and potential flooding. Another tropical depression may be on its way. I'm Julia McCary, and that's your National Weather Report.
Thanks, Julia. Coming up, a real-life garage band.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
COVID has canceled most live performances, but here at NU, there's rhythm reverberating all around. You might find an impromptu concert if you just follow the music. In our closer tonight, I found some NU students who are adapting and hitting the right note.
Schooling from home, most of us need someplace quiet. But music students need someplace to play out loud.
Getting back to doing the thing that we do instead of playing with a sock shoved up her bell in a closet it's amazing.
And all over campus, mini concerts outside.
At some point the Chicago wind will kick us out, but we'll enjoy it while it lasts.
Rehearsal rooms closed or too small, but students eager to blow their horns. From a safe distance, of course.
It's a way for us to do what we normally probably couldn't do at the moment, so yeah, it's nice.
It's not your typical concert hall, but for this trombone quartet, parking garage acoustics are just what they need.
It's great. It's been about like 6 months probably since quarantine started and everything, and it's just great to finally get together in a big open space and just make music with our friends.
Students changing their tune, ready for their post-COVID crescendo. Joey Safchik, Northwestern News Network.
Enjoy those concerts while it's still warm enough to do so.
And remember, you can keep up with the news and watch all of tonight's segments on our social media channels at NNN_news. That'll do it for us this week on the Northwestern News Report. I'm Justin Sweetwood.
And I'm Joey Safchik. For all of us here at NNN, stay safe and stay informed.